Okay, so this is one of the maps that we got, and this really, yeah, we were enjoying this map. Both of us we were, because you're not looking at streets here.
But what are we looking at?
Well, here you have it, lichtmast. So you're just looking at street lighting. That is interesting. And if I look at quality, there's a lot to be said about this map. One of the things is that in terms of storytelling, so we're skipping a bit to the back of here. If you talk about street lights and you have the guts to put a totally dark background, dark bluish red, and the lights in white. That is excellent thinking. And this is the kind of thing that I tend to see with planners, architects. They have a visual mind most of the time, and they do this kind of stuff. And it is so uncommon in most of the teams that I work in. If I look at municipalities, etc., they're all very technical oriented, and they don't, see the total picture. So in terms of quality, excellent, great, good storyline here as well. Another thing, metadata, really important in quality. There's metadata. The source is given. You could argue that the source is not the service, but it is the source here is the joint effort of the municipalities and the water boards and the provinces, etc., to make the actual data. But having the source here, where you get the data from, is most important. In this case, PDOK is the service provider, not the owner of the data. So let's have a look, but basically perfect. And there's a definition here. What is the definition of the thing we're looking at? And so that, kind of a lot of quality is not only geometric quality, or it's also what can you tell about the subject? Another thing is about quality is that you could argue, is this data complete? Are you sure that all the streetlights are here? And so is there a homogeneous coverage of all the streetlights? And I cannot tell for sure. And that is another question that you must always ask about the data that you use. For example, this BGT, the base registration for a large-scale mapping in the Netherlands, a street light is not one of the parts that is, it is an optional thing in the map. A lot of things should be in the map, but some things are optional, and streetlights are optional. So in this case, I guess that if a municipality, for example here Harderwijk, has them in one place, they probably have them everywhere. But it could also be that, for example, when another municipality says, okay, we're not collecting that information in this specific map, that you're just missing out a complete municipality. But you cannot really tell because it is an optional feature. So it is most interesting feature, but still it's like, okay, I'm not sure if this is complete. By the way, if you see here that, for example, all the crossings of the streets have lights and the main through road doesn't, could also be that, for example, this is a provincial road and the province doesn't give the, doesn't add these to the map. Could be municipality, could also be the province. You're not sure. That is, And the thing is, it is a core registration, so we should be able to trust it. But we can trust it, but only as far as, well, the optional parts are, yeah, they're optional. So they can be trusted to be there sometimes. Different. And that makes geoinformation, working with geoinformation, always a bit complex. You always have to check, how complete is this data? Does it work? Now, for your research, there are some things, of course, that you cannot research everything. You're not data specialists or everything or anything. But sometimes it is really useful to read up on the information on the metadata that is written about this about certain data sets. In this case, no need for that. I mean, this is just insanely fun, and it's a good idea to have these on the map, especially in this way. It's really fun. Another thing about quality is is the data up to date? In the BGT, you can assume it's up to date. But I said before, for the bug, if you find something wrong with the data and you tell that to your municipality, they have to react within 4 days. With the BGT, it's different. They have to react within a certain period of time, but it is not really 4 days. It's more like 6 months. So yeah, it is up to date, but it's up to date for the actual project. Okay, let's have a look. Another thing, quality. This one is also from one of your work. It's georeferencing of old maps. Now, in this case, it is not georeferencing, but this is the old map. You see in black the old map here, of course, and in blue you see the current location of the waterways. So here you have the river that runs, nowadays it runs here, and on this map it runs like that. Now, yeah, and the comment was that you don't know exactly, and that is true, you don't know exactly. Measurements were, well, not as they are today. The quality of the map is really good for the standards of, what is this one, 1850, 1820? For those times, these were the up to standard maps. But not everything fits perfectly, especially if you move over time, and you will do that probably in your research to see how older structures in landscape are still visible today. So yeah, you always have to work a bit with that. You could also say that, for example, let's say if the shape of the river was a bit different, if it followed more the shape of the current river, but it was just off a bit, and you could say, okay, I can georeference this to my own, to the current situation. That will be fun. So we can do that, and we'll do that in the next quarter. However, one look ahead, if you have really old maps and you try to georeference them, sometimes they give weird results. For example, this is a figurative map of Delft. You recognize the market in Delft probably. Now let's see, it's facing westish, let's say this one. So if you to georeference this one, and it will be facing north, you have to look, okay, this will be really weird, because you'll be looking from one angle while all the houses are drawn here on this map as going to another angle. So this will be totally weird. If you just rotate this map, you can see. It might give some weird results because maps used to be different in those days.